Have you ever felt the sting of a harsh word or the weight of a rejection? Have you ever allowed someone's opinion or criticism to disrupt your entire day? Imagine if you could rise above all of that, untouched, unshaken, completely in control. What if I told you that true power doesn't come from what happens to you, but from how you respond? Welcome to American Wall Street. Today, we're diving deep into the most powerful secret that can change your emotional life forever. It's not what happens to you that defines you. It's how you master the reactions within you that determines your peace. Ready to discover how to never let anyone or anything shake your calm again? Let's begin. Control begins within. It starts with the most important battle you'll ever face, the one between you and your emotions. You see, emotions are not simply reactions to the world around you. They are signals, not commands. Too often, we let our emotions dictate our behavior. When you lose control of your emotions, you lose control of your life. But here's the thing, you can master your emotions. And once you do, no insult, no rejection, and no person will ever have the power to control your peace again. Think about the last time you felt anger or frustration. In that moment, did you let it control you? Did you react? Or did you pause and ask yourself, what's really happening here? The difference between someone who is powerful and someone who is powerless is not about what happens to them, but how they handle what happens. Powerful people don't let the world dictate their emotional state. They choose how to respond. They are in command of their mind, their emotions, and their actions. Here's the secret. People who offend you, who frustrate you, or who try to humiliate you are not your problem. They are tests. Tests designed to show you how much control you truly have over yourself. Anyone can stay calm when the road is smooth, but control is proven in the storms, not the sunshine. It's easy to talk about peace when everything is going well, but true control is demonstrated when the world pokes at your patience, when things don't go your way, and when people push your buttons. That's when you prove what you're made of. Every word that triggers you, every person who disturbs your peace, is a reflection of where you need more control. Don't hate the reflection. Use it to grow. Because here's the truth. Your emotions are your responsibility. No one can make you angry without your consent. No one can make you feel small unless you agree to it. You are not a puppet controlled by the actions of others. You are the master of your own mind. You decide whether to react or rise above. Imagine this. A situation arises that could easily cause you to react in anger or frustration. What do? Do you react impulsively, letting the emotional storm sweep over you? Or do you pause, take a deep breath, and choose peace? The moment you stop blaming others for how you feel is the moment you become unstoppable. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about directing them, choosing your response with awareness, not reaction. Real control doesn't mean being cold or detached from your emotions. It means understanding them, acknowledging them, and then choosing how to respond. Anger, pain, disappointment, they're all signals. You don't have to obey every emotional impulse that comes your way. Instead, you can acknowledge it, learn from it, and still choose calm. Control is not about avoiding emotions. It's about becoming conscious of them and using them in a way that serves your higher purpose. Here's a powerful thought. No one ruins your day. You do, by allowing it. No insult can break you unless you accept it as truth. No rejection can crush you unless you let it define you. The person who controls themselves is always in power, even when everything else is falling apart. When you master your emotions, your reactions, your energy, you become untouchable. You stop chasing peace and start creating it. You stop demanding respect and start embodying it. Your calm will speak louder than your words ever could. Now let me ask you a simple question. Do you believe that emotional control is something you can learn? Or do you think it's a trait some people are just born with? Comment your answer below. A, yes, emotional control can be learned. B, no, it's something you're either born with or not. This simple shift in your thinking will change how you experience the world. If you want to continue learning about how to master your emotions and create lasting inner peace, make sure to subscribe to American Wall Street now. Your support keeps us going, helping us bring more valuable content to you. Let's continue the journey to mastering your emotions. You have the power within you. You just need to claim it. When life pushes you to the edge, when everything around you seems to be crumbling, it's easy to feel helpless and lost. But here's a secret. The key to remaining unshaken in those moments lies in silence and patience. Sounds too simple, doesn't it? You might think that silence means weakness or that patience is passive. But in reality, true strength is born from mastering the art of stillness. The most powerful people in the world don't react impulsively. They respond with calm and purpose, carefully choosing their next step. This is not about suppressing your emotions. It's about controlling them, not allowing the chaos around you to dictate your inner state. Silence is not about withdrawing or shutting down. It's about creating space for clarity, for understanding. When everything around you is chaotic and loud, your ability to remain silent becomes your greatest weapon. Think of the times you've been pushed to react. Someone said something that hurt, something didn't go your way, and you felt the familiar rush of anger or frustration. In those moments, most people allow their emotions to explode, acting on impulse, and in doing so, they lose their peace. But when you choose silence instead of reaction, you are reclaiming your power. You are no longer at the mercy of your emotional impulses. You are in control. But silence isn't a simple act of holding your tongue. It's the awareness that in every challenging moment, you have a choice. You can either react and let your emotions control you, or you can pause, breathe, and make a conscious decision to remain calm. The moment between stimulus and response is where true strength lies. In that space, you can observe your emotions without allowing them to take over. You can acknowledge the anger, frustration, or hurt, but you don't have to act on it. Instead, you choose your response. This is where you find your true power, not in reacting, but in responding with intention. True strength is not about avoiding discomfort or feeling nothing. It's about staying grounded in your core while everything around you falls apart. It's about remaining clear-headed in moments of confusion, about maintaining your sense of self amidst the noise. When you cultivate the ability to remain silent and patient, you build a foundation of strength that no external circumstance can shake. You begin to understand that silence is not an absence of action, but a powerful, deliberate choice. It's a space where you can assess, understand, and then decide the best course of action rather than acting out of impulse or emotion. Patience is a critical aspect of this process. Patience is often misunderstood as passivity, but it's far from that. True patience is an active process. It's the ability to wait without frustration, to move at the right pace without rushing or forcing things. In a world that rewards speed, impatience, and quick fixes, patience is the greatest act of strength. When you are patient, you allow the universe to unfold on its own terms. You trust that everything happens in its own time, and this trust enables you to remain calm when others are scrambling. Patience teaches you to be present. It encourages you to stay rooted in the moment rather than being swept away by the past or future. It's about being able to observe the situation, understand it, and then choose how to respond. Those who have mastered patience know that there is no need to rush through life. Every step you take, every decision you make is deliberate and thoughtful. Patience is not about sitting idly. It's about knowing that everything comes in due time, and rushing only leads to mistakes and regret. When you master the art of silence and patience, you begin to realize that you are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. The opinions of others, the pressures of life, and the setbacks that come your way no longer have the power to destabilize you. Instead, you begin to operate from a place of inner strength and clarity. You stop reacting to everything around you and start acting with purpose and intention. In that space of stillness, you find the freedom to create the life you want without being controlled by the noise of the world. Silence and patience give you the space to connect with your true self. They allow you to tap into your inner wisdom and strength. When you practice silence, you make room for your own voice to rise above the noise. You stop letting the voices of others dictate your decisions, and instead, you trust yourself more deeply. Patience allows you to recognize that your path is unfolding exactly as it should. You don't need to force things or rush to prove yourself. You simply need to remain steady, focused, and calm. In moments of chaos, remember this. Silence is not emptiness. It is the presence of clarity. Patience is not passivity. It is the strength to move when the time is right. Together, they form the foundation of true inner power. And when you cultivate them, you will find that no external force, no matter how strong, can ever shake your inner peace. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools you can possess. Yet, it is often the hardest to practice, especially when you've been hurt deeply. We all have experienced pain caused by others, whether through betrayal, words, or actions that wounded us. In those moments, it's easy to hold on to anger, to let the resentment grow within us, convincing ourselves that we are justified in our hurt. But what if I told you that the one thing holding you back from peace is the very thing you refuse to release? Your unforgiveness? When you choose not to forgive, you give the person who hurt you power over your emotions. You allow them to control how you feel, not only in the moment of hurt, but long after it has passed. The weight of that unresolved pain can affect every area of your life. It can cloud your judgment, hinder your growth, and drain your energy. It creates a cycle of negativity that continues to shape your life in ways you may not even realize. Holding on to past hurts is like carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks. Every step you take, every action you make, is burdened by that weight. And the longer you carry it, the heavier it becomes. Forgiveness, however, is the key to dropping that backpack. It's not about excusing the other person's behavior or pretending that what happened didn't matter. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional prison you've built by holding on to that resentment. Forgiveness is not a gift to the other person. It's a gift to yourself. It allows you to let go of the control that anger, bitterness, and resentment have over your life. When you forgive, you take back your power. But forgiveness is not a one-time act. It's a daily choice. It requires you to acknowledge the pain, sit with it, and then decide not to let it dictate your actions or your mood. It's not about forgetting what happened, but about deciding that you are no longer going to let it define you. The act of forgiveness frees your mind from the shackles of past injuries, giving you the ability to move forward with clarity, peace, and purpose. It creates space for healing, both emotionally and spiritually, and allows you to reclaim your inner strength. In moments when you feel hurt, take a deep breath and remind yourself that forgiveness is not weakness, it's strength. It takes strength to forgive, to look past the pain, and choose to release it. It's easier to hold on to anger because it feels like a form of protection, but in reality, anger only keeps you tied to the past. It keeps you anchored to the pain, making it difficult to move forward. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is liberating. It's the act of cutting those chains, setting yourself free to heal and grow. It's important to understand that forgiveness doesn't mean you allow people to mistreat you again. It doesn't mean you forget the lessons learned from the experience. It simply means that you choose to stop carrying the weight of the past. You can forgive someone and still protect yourself from future harm. Forgiveness is not about tolerating bad behavior. It's about protecting your peace and choosing not to let someone else's actions steal your joy. The power of forgiveness is transformative. It shifts your perspective, allowing you to see the situation from a higher vantage point. When you forgive, you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as someone who has the strength to rise above the hurt. You stop living in the past and begin to live fully in the present. Your energy, which was once consumed by anger, now becomes available for growth, for new opportunities, and for building the future you deserve. It's also important to remember that forgiveness is not always about the other person. Sometimes, the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. We often carry guilt, regret, or shame for things we have done, and these emotions can weigh us down just as much as the hurt caused by others. But just like with others, we must extend forgiveness to ourselves. We must let go of self-blame and allow ourselves the grace to move forward. Self-forgiveness is the first step to healing, and without it, we can never fully embrace the peace and happiness that life has to offer. Forgiveness doesn't happen overnight, but with practice, it becomes easier. It starts with a conscious decision to release the anger, to choose peace over pain, and to make room for healing. The more you practice forgiveness, the more natural it becomes. And as you continue to forgive, you'll find that your life becomes lighter, your relationships deepen, and your personal growth accelerates. You'll begin to realize that forgiveness is not just a one-time act. It's a way of living, a way of freeing yourself from the chains of the past and stepping boldly into the future. So the next time you feel anger or resentment rising within you, take a moment to pause and ask yourself, is holding on to this hurt worth my peace? The answer, every time, will be no. Forgive quickly, forgive fully, and in doing so, you'll experience a level of freedom and inner peace that is truly priceless. When you have a clear purpose, everything in your life changes. Purpose isn't just a goal or an aspiration, it's the internal compass that guides every decision, every action, and every thought. Without purpose, life can feel like a series of disconnected events, a chaotic whirlwind where nothing truly matters. But when you find your purpose, you gain a sense of direction that nothing else can replace. It becomes your anchor, your guiding light through the storms and the calm, the one thing that no external circumstances can take from you. Living with purpose means you no longer wander aimlessly through life, hoping for things to happen or waiting for happiness to find you. Instead, you understand that happiness is the result of intentional action, driven by a clear understanding of why you do what you do. Purpose is the fuel that powers you through difficulties, the force that keeps you going when others might quit. It transforms obstacles into opportunities and challenges into growth. It is the difference between simply existing and truly living. The world can easily distract you. Every day, we are bombarded with external pressures, opinions, and distractions. People want your attention. The media wants to consume your time. Society wants to define your success. But when you live with purpose, you are not easily swayed by these external forces. You know where you're going and why you're going there, and nothing can divert you from that path. Purpose gives you the clarity to say no to things that don't align with your values and to stay focused on what truly matters. It allows you to filter out the noise, the distractions, and the insignificant things that might have once derailed you. Purpose doesn't just give you clarity, it gives you power. When you know why you're here, when you understand the greater meaning behind your actions, you stop feeling lost or powerless. You become an unstoppable force. You stop looking for external validation because you know your worth. Your purpose validates you. It gives you confidence and the courage to stand firm, even in the face of doubt, criticism, or fear. The opinions of others no longer hold sway over you. Their judgments, their expectations, their desires, they all become irrelevant in the light of your own sense of purpose. You understand that your path is yours to walk, and no one else's approval is required to take the next step. When you're rooted in purpose, every action becomes an opportunity to grow and move closer to your true self. Even the smallest tasks, the daily routines, and the mundane moments take on greater meaning. They all contribute to your greater mission, and this gives your life depth and significance. Purpose brings fulfillment to every moment because you know that what you're doing is not just busy work or time spent wasting away. Every effort is an investment in your future, an expression of the person you are becoming, and a reflection of your inner drive. But living with purpose requires focus. It's easy to be distracted in today's world. The internet, social media, television, and the constant pull of modern life can leave you feeling overwhelmed and drained. Yet, it is in these moments of distraction that the power of purpose shines the brightest. Purpose helps you stay grounded in the face of chaos. It helps you center yourself and refocus when life starts to pull you in too many directions. Without purpose, it's easy to be swept away by the tide of external demands. But when you have a clear sense of direction, you are like a rock in a storm, standing firm against the currents, steadfast and unmovable. It's not always easy to maintain focus on your purpose, especially when the road gets tough. There will be times when doubt creeps in, when obstacles seem insurmountable, and when the temptation to give up feels overwhelming. But this is where the power of purpose truly proves itself. When you have a clear, burning reason for why you are doing what you're doing, it becomes easier to push through the pain, the doubt, and the setbacks. You understand that every challenge is part of the journey. It's not about avoiding hardship. It's about using hardship as fuel for your growth. Purpose turns adversity into a stepping stone, turning failures into lessons, and transforming obstacles into opportunities for strength. Living with purpose also means living with authenticity. It requires you to be true to yourself, to stop pretending to be someone you're not, and to stop living for the approval of others. Authenticity is the key to feeling truly fulfilled. When you're aligned with your purpose, you stop feeling like you're wearing a mask. You stop living in a way that's dictated by external expectations, and instead, you live in alignment with your values and your vision for your life. This alignment brings peace because it removes the internal conflict between who you are and who you think you should be. Purpose is not just about achieving goals or ticking boxes on a to-do list. It's about creating a life that resonates with who you are deep inside. It's about living in a way that feels authentic and meaningful to you. When you do this, everything else in your life falls into place. Your relationships, your career, your health, everything becomes more purposeful. You stop being a passive observer in your own life and start being the active creator of your destiny. In the end, living with purpose isn't just about achieving something grand or monumental. It's about living every day with intention, passion, and clarity. It's about waking up each morning knowing exactly what you're striving for and why it matters. When you live with purpose, you live with power. You stop being controlled by circumstances, by other people's opinions, and by the distractions of the world. You take control of your life and steer it in the direction that aligns with your deepest values. Purpose gives you the strength to rise above the noise and the clarity to focus on what truly matters. It turns your life into a journey of meaning and fulfillment, where every step you take brings you closer to becoming the person you were always meant to be. The moment you release the expectations you place on others, a profound shift occurs in your life. It may feel like you're letting go of something vital, but in reality, what you're releasing is the very thing that has held you captive. Expectations, whether about love, support, recognition, or respect, are invisible chains that tie us to the behavior and actions of others. We place them on people, on situations, and on life itself. And when those expectations go unmet, we feel disappointed, frustrated, and ultimately helpless. But here's the truth. When you stop expecting, you free yourself from the emotional prison that these expectations create. You stop allowing others to control your peace, your happiness, and your sense of self-worth. Expectations are the silent killers of happiness. They are born out of the ego's desire to control, to predict, and to mold reality according to our desires. We want people to behave in a certain way, to treat us in a particular manner, and to meet our needs as we see fit. But life doesn't work that way. People are unpredictable. Circumstances are often out of our control. And when we attach our peace to the fulfillment of these external conditions, we set ourselves up for constant disappointment. Life will never meet your expectations 100% of the time. People will let you down. Situations will fall short. And if you continue to live by expectations, you will continue to live in a cycle of frustration and discontentment. Releasing expectations doesn't mean abandoning your values or giving up on the things that matter most to you. It means letting go of the need for things to unfold in a specific way or for people to behave according to your blueprint. It means accepting that life will unfold on its own terms and choosing to stay aligned with your own sense of purpose, regardless of what happens outside of you. When you stop expecting, you shift from a place of lack to a place of abundance. You stop needing people to act in a certain way to feel good about yourself. You stop waiting for the perfect circumstances to take action. Instead, you begin to live freely, responding to life with equanimity, regardless of what comes your way. The beauty of letting go of expectations is that it frees you to fully appreciate what is, rather than what you think should be. It allows you to see people for who they truly are, not for who you want them to be. When you release the need for others to fulfill your emotional needs, you begin to find peace in your own company. You no longer rely on external validation to feel worthy or loved. You become your own source of happiness, your own source of strength. You start to recognize that your worth doesn't depend on the opinions or actions of others. It comes from within. Letting go of expectations also opens the door to deeper connection and more authentic relationships. When you stop trying to mold people into your expectations, you create space for them to be themselves. You stop demanding perfection and allow room for imperfection, vulnerability, and growth. This creates a much stronger bond because it's based on acceptance, not conditional love. You begin to accept people as they are, flaws and all, and that's where true intimacy and connection are born. In addition, releasing expectations frees you from the tyranny of comparison. When we have expectations about how others should behave, we often compare ourselves to them. We measure our worth by how well we think we match up to their actions or opinions. But when you stop expecting, you stop comparing. You stop measuring your life against someone else's and start living on your own terms. You understand that your journey is unique, that your progress is personal, and that your success doesn't depend on how others live their lives. One of the greatest benefits of releasing expectations is the inner peace it brings. You stop fighting against life's flow and start going with it. When you let go of your attachments to how things should be, you create room for acceptance and gratitude. You begin to appreciate life for what it is, not for what you think it should be. You accept that setbacks and failures are part of the process, not signs that something is wrong. You realize that nothing is permanent, and every moment, whether good or bad, is an opportunity for growth. In fact, when you stop expecting, you become more present. You stop worrying about the future or regretting the past, and you start fully experiencing the moment. You learn to trust in the process of life and let go of the need to control every outcome. This acceptance allows you to move through life with grace and ease, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. So, how do you start releasing expectations? Begin by noticing when you are attached to an outcome. Pay attention to moments when you feel disappointed or frustrated because things aren't going the way you expected. Take a step back and remind yourself that life is fluid and ever-changing, and it's okay if things don't go as planned. Practice accepting life as it is, not as you think it should be. Practice being grateful for the people and experiences that come into your life, even if they don't meet your expectations. As you begin to let go of expectations, you'll find that your life becomes lighter, more fluid, and more fulfilling. You'll no longer be a victim of life's circumstances. You'll be the creator of your own reality, and in doing so, you'll discover a deep and lasting sense of peace that no external factor can ever take away. Release expectations and watch how your life transforms. In life, we often find ourselves tangled in the expectations we place on others, situations, and even ourselves. We think that if things don't unfold exactly as we envision, we'll be disappointed or dissatisfied. However, the truth is, these expectations are often the very thing that keeps us stuck, frustrated, and unable to fully embrace life as it comes. When we release our attachment to specific outcomes and start accepting life for what it is, we unlock a sense of freedom and peace. This doesn't mean we stop striving for our goals or caring about the people in our lives. Rather, it means we let go of the need to control every detail and allow ourselves the space to grow and adapt. By embracing acceptance over expectation, we learn to live with purpose and resilience. We stop letting others or life's unpredictability control our happiness. Instead, we take responsibility for how we respond, focusing on what truly matters: our actions, our choices, and our peace of mind. It's a shift from trying to control everything to accepting that we can only control how we react and grow in any situation. So the next time you feel disappointment or frustration creeping in because life isn't going according to plan, pause. Reflect on the situation and remind yourself that you have the power to choose your response. Let go of the need for perfect outcomes and embrace the beauty of the journey itself. It is in the unplanned moments and the imperfections of life where we often find the most growth, joy, and meaning. Lesson: the key to peace and fulfillment is releasing expectations and embracing life's natural flow. By doing so, we not only stop allowing external factors to dictate our mood, but also create space for growth, adaptability, and true happiness. Question: how do you handle moments when things don't go as expected? Share your thoughts in the comments below so we can all learn from each other's experiences. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to support more valuable content that will help you lead a fulfilling life. Thank you for being part of this journey.